In 1845, two French farmers won a national competition for a technique that defied nature. They grew fresh tomatoes, melons, and cucumbers in January when the ground was frozen solid. They used nothing but horse manure, glass frames, and a secret the Romans had known for 2,000 years. Their manual became the Bible of 9,000 gardeners who fed a city of 1 million people year-round without a single drop of fossil fuel. The technique was so effective that Paris produced 8 harvests per year on plots smaller than your backyard. Then, within a generation, it vanished, erased from agricultural textbooks, replaced by an industry that needed you to keep buying. We have all been told winter means empty gardens and imported produce. But what if the answer to feeding ourselves sustainably was buried in a 180-year-old book that industry forgot to burn? Welcome back to Nature Hidden Beneath. If you are new here, we uncover the forgotten science that powerful industries would rather keep buried. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss these stories. Drop a comment below telling us if you have ever tried growing food in winter. Now, let us continue. Picture Paris in the 1840s. Cobblestone streets filled with horse-drawn carriages, gas lamps flickering at dusk. Scattered throughout the city were small plots covered in glass frames that glowed with impossible life even in the depths of winter. These were the gardens of the Maraquers, the market gardeners of Paris. Jean-Jacques Deverne worked a plot of 15,000 square meters north of the city at La Chapelle Saint-Denis. J.G. Moreau tended a smaller garden within the city walls. Both came from families who had passed down gardening secrets for generations. In 1842, the Royal Society of Agriculture opened a competition offering 1,000 francs to document the intensive cultivation methods that made Parisian gardens legendary. For 30 years, no one had responded. Moreau and Deverne decided to try. They spent 2 years compiling everything they knew, every technique, every monthly rotation that allowed them to harvest when the rest of Europe was locked in frost. In 1844, they won. Their book was published in 1845, titled Manuel pratique de la culture maraîchère de Paris. Tragically, Davernay died that same year, but his knowledge survived. The statistics are staggering, even by modern standards. Paris contained 1,378 hectares of cultivated land, with 9,000 workers and 1,700 horses. These gardeners covered 6% of all land within the city, and they fed the second largest city in the world with fresh produce 12 months per year. The technique at the heart of this miracle was called the coche chaude, the hotbed. First, dig a pit 2 to 3 feet deep, then fill it with fresh horse manure mixed with straw. Add roughly 2 parts manure to 1 part straw. Pack the mixture tightly and water it thoroughly. Within days, the pile begins to heat. 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 120 degrees Fahrenheit, sometimes 150 degrees Fahrenheit at the core. This is not combustion. Billions of invisible organisms are consuming the manure and releasing heat as a byproduct. Once the initial spike passes, add 6 to 8 inches of quality soil on top. Then cover the structure with glass frames. The glass traps solar radiation during the day and reflects heat back at night. The decomposing manure below provides steady bottom heat to the root zone. The result is a soil temperature of 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, maintained automatically, without electricity, without fossil fuel, even when snow is falling outside. Modern science has confirmed what those 19th century gardeners discovered through trial and error. When organic matter decomposes, mesophilic bacteria first break down simple sugars. As they work, the temperature rises. At around 113 degrees Fahrenheit, thermophilic bacteria take over, species from the genera Bacillus and Thermus. These extremophiles thrive in conditions that would kill most life. A 2023 study in Chemical and Biological Technologies in Agriculture describes what happens. The thermophilic phase operates optimally at 140 to 158 degrees Fahrenheit. The bacteria are literally burning organic matter at a molecular level, releasing energy as heat. Peer-reviewed research from 2025 in M Systems confirmed that core thermophilic taxa are primary drivers of heat production. The science is settled. The genius of the hotbed is delivering heat exactly where plants need it. The root zone. According to University of Massachusetts Extension, 75% of greenhouse energy costs go to heating alone. The Marachers achieved the same temperatures for free. Their fuel was waste. When the heat faded, the decomposed manure became premium fertilizer. A closed loop, zero waste, zero energy cost. So why did this technique disappear? Two parallel transformations reshaped the 20th century: the death of the horse and the rise of the fertilizer industry. In 1907, the United States had only 600 tractors. By 1950, that number exploded to 3.4 million. The internal combustion engine eliminated the source of free fuel that hotbed gardening depended on. Paris in 1900 had approximately 80,000 horses. Within 3 decades, they vanished from city streets. No horses meant no manure. No manure meant no hotbeds. Simultaneously, the Haber-Bosch process began operating at industrial scale. Fertilizer production soared from 1 million tons per year to nearly 20 million by 1960. Farmers who once relied on hotbeds now faced a new model. They had to buy fertilizer every spring or risk a smaller harvest. The business logic was ruthless. A hotbed is a one-time investment. The decomposed manure fertilizes the next season automatically. But synthetic fertilizer requires purchase every season. The subscription was built in, and each year brought another invoice. Agricultural journals quietly shifted focus, and hotbed techniques became old-fashioned. By the 1940s, practical research on intensive methods had ceased. The forgotten manual gathered dust. The last Marachers aged out of the profession. The knowledge that fed Paris for 3 centuries became a historical curiosity. But not everyone forgot. In 1974, a young American farmer named Elliott Coleman traveled to Paris on what he called a winter vegetable pilgrimage. He found Louis Sevier, one of the last living practitioners of traditional Parisian market gardening. Sevier had learned the methods from his father, who learned from his father, a chain of knowledge stretching back to the Golden Age. Coleman brought that knowledge to his farm in Harborside, Maine, latitude 44 degrees north, the same as Paris. Four Season Farm became his laboratory. He combined hotbeds with unheated hoop houses. He tested over 30 cold, hardy vegetables. His books, The New Organic Grower, 4 Season Harvest, and The Winter Harvest Handbook, have sold hundreds of thousands of copies. Others followed. Jean-Martin Fortier in Quebec published The Market Gardener. The Bec-Hellouin farm in Normandy became a research center for bio-intensive methods. Home gardeners across North America are building hotbeds in zones 3 through 6, posting photographs of January lettuce harvests. The science works today exactly as it worked in 1845. The bacteria have not changed. The thermodynamics have not changed. Only our memory changed. And now economics are shifting again. In 2022 and 2023, European greenhouse growers faced crisis. Energy prices spiked. More than half of European tomato greenhouses went dormant. In the northeastern United States, growers raised prices 30 to 40% to cover fuel costs. Suddenly, the old question has new urgency. What if we did not need fossil fuel to grow food in winter? Building a hotbed is simpler than most imagine. Select a south-facing, well-drained site. Orient the frame east to west for maximum winter sun. Dig 24 to 36 inches deep. Prepare your fuel. Use fresh horse manure no more than 6 weeks old, mixed with straw, at 2 parts manure to 1 part carbon. Critical warning: ask whether horses were fed hay sprayed with persistent herbicides. Some herbicides survive composting and can kill plants years later. Stack and turn the mixture over 10 days. When steam rises and heat builds inside, it is ready. Fill your pit to a depth of 18 to 24 inches. Pack firmly. Water thoroughly. Add 6 to 8 inches of compost on top. Cover with glass or clear plastic. Old storm windows work beautifully. Insert a soil thermometer. Wait for the temperature to drop to 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit before planting. This usually takes 5 to 10 days. Plant fast-maturing crops first, such as lettuce, spinach, and radishes. On sunny days, ventilate by cracking the cover. The old Marachers called this the most important skill. Your hotbed generates useful heat for 2 to 3 months. When spring arrives, the decomposed material becomes rich fertilizer. The materials cost less than $50. Manure is often free from local stables. The most expensive component is your time.